What role did sharecroppers play within the tenant farming system? Have you ever wondered how the end of slavery transformed agriculture in the South after the American Civil War? The Southern economy, which had relied heavily on enslaved labor, faced a major shift. With the abolition of slavery, freed African Americans and many poor white farmers sought ways to sustain themselves and continue farming. This led to the rise of tenant farming and sharecropping. So, what exactly was the role of sharecroppers within this system? Sharecroppers were a specific group within tenant farming. Unlike tenant farmers who often rented land and owned their own tools, sharecroppers typically did not own land or farming equipment. They worked a portion of a landowner's property in exchange for a share of the crop, which was often about half of what they produced. The landowner provided everything necessary for farming: land, housing, tools, seeds, and other supplies. In return, sharecroppers contributed their labor and that of their families. However, they had little say in what crops were planted or how they were sold. The landowners made those decisions, which limited the sharecroppers' control over their work. After the harvest, the landowner would sell the crops and deduct the costs of supplies and living expenses from the sharecroppers' share. This system often trapped sharecroppers in a cycle of debt. Many had to buy goods on credit from local merchants, hoping to pay off their debts with their crop earnings at the end of the season. Economically, sharecropping allowed landowners to maintain agricultural production without relying on enslaved labor. For freed African Americans and poor whites, it was one of the few ways to work the land and survive. However, it often resulted in limited financial gain and little opportunity for advancement. Sharecropping effectively replaced slavery with a system that kept many people tied to the land under conditions that restricted their freedom and economic opportunities. In essence, sharecroppers played the role of laborers within the tenant farming system. They worked land they did not own, relied on landowners for supplies and housing, and gave a significant portion of their crops to the landowners. This system shaped the Southern agricultural economy for decades after the Civil War, perpetuating economic hardship and social inequality rooted in the legacy of slavery.